Hey, what's up everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all had a great day. The Alice Adventure is live right now and we got the Fusion event calendar as well. So let's get right into it. Before we start, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And now let's get back to the video. Alright, so let's see. Let me move myself out of the way real quick. Alright, so we have a total fragments available of 450 and you will need 100 for each epic. So we can get 200 from tournaments, 50 from Summon Rush. Those will probably be the extra fragments. And then 200 from events. That means if you're going for that Summon Rush, you can skip a total of 2 events or tournaments. And we are going to start with a Fire Knight tournament, an Artifact Enhancement event, Champion Training event, and a Dungeon Divers event. We have a second Dungeon Divers here and the third one, so it's 3 Dungeon Divers. We got a Spider tournament, Ice Golem, and Dragon. We have 1 Champion Training event here and a second one here, so it's only 2 Champion Training events. Classic Arena Takedown 1 and 2. Those are the easiest ones to complete. And then we have a Champ Chase this weekend, which is a little bit unfortunate because you can't use Alice for this Champion Chase tournament. And the Summon Rush on the next weekend. So as you can see, after the Summon Rush on the weekend, we're going to have another Summon Rush from Tuesday to Thursday. And this is most likely going to be something like a Deck of Fate that we had for Freya. So if you're planning on completing this, you can skip 2 of these events and tournaments. I'm not sure how many shards or points you need for this Summon Rush here, or what form of event this is going to be. But I hope they're going to release some information on that soon, because it really depends on what this event looks like. If I'm going for it, or if I would recommend anybody to go for it. So I guess we gotta wait a little bit. But most likely it's gonna be a deck where you can get fragments from the cards. As I said though, I'm not really sure about that. So let's take a look at the normal events and tournaments. We also have 3 artifact enhancement events, which are also pretty easy to do, as they feed off the dungeon tournaments and events. So, if you're not going for that extra Summon Rush, which is the last event, you will be not able to skip any of these events. We have a total of 400 fragments of the tournaments and events, and only 50 extra from the Summon Rush, so can't really skip any of these, unless you're going for the Summon Rush that is on a Tuesday, January the 21st. So if you're going for that extra Summon Rush, there are a few options here for the events you can skip. For example, you could technically combine this Fire Knight tournament and this Spider tournament for this Dungeon Divers event 1. And each of those dungeon tournaments will cost you around 2.2k energy. And to complete the Dungeon Divers event, you will need around 5.5k energy in total. Now, to optimize the energy efficiency here, you can run solo Spider. There are quite a few champions that are able to run Spider solo. For example, Eric's or Wallmaster or Thorion. And that way you can also get some extra champion training points, which will make it much easier for you to complete this event. Now, with the next Dungeon Divers, you kind of have to make a decision here. For example, you could farm Ice Golem for this Dungeon Divers, do it solo with the R-Tag, for example, and get some champion training points as well. But once you finish this Ice Golem tournament, which will also cost you around 2.2k energy, the Dungeon Divers event will sit around 1,700 points, and most of the times you need like 3,300 points, if I remember correctly, to complete the Dungeon Divers event for the fragments. So you would have to invest more energy into Ice Golem than you would need to complete the tournament, and that would leave you with the Dragon tournament for the last Dungeon Divers, which is kind of the same situation where you can also run Dragon solo and get some champion training points, and you would combine this with the Ice Golem runs as well. Now, if you're trying to go for that Summon Rush, it's really hard to say what you should skip because we don't know the terms yet. We don't know what that event's gonna look like. Let's say you're 100% sure you can complete this Summon Rush as well and get those 50 extra fragments. Then I would suggest to skip this champion training event, the first one. Champion training event number 1 and Dungeon Divers number 2. That way you can farm Ice Golem for Dungeon Divers 3 instead and complete it very easily by completing the Ice Golem tournament and this Dragon tournament. It would save you a lot of energy because you don't have to spend that extra amount of energy to complete the Dungeon Divers while your Ice Golem tournament is already finished. But I would only skip these events if you're really sure you can complete this Summon Rush, if you have enough shards on your account to complete this without a problem. Now, for the first Champ Chase, which will start on Friday, you can actually collect enough fragments to fuse one of the epic voids, which will give you 350 points. So that's actually a pretty good amount of points to start with. And I think those 25 fragments will sit around 3,000 points, something like that, maybe a little bit more. Also, I don't know yet what kind of summoning event we're going to have, if it's going to be a 2x, Ancients, Voids, Sacreds. We don't have that info yet. But the best way to complete those Champion Chase tournaments is with like lower shards, Ancients, Voids, maybe Primals if you don't care about waiting for 2x events for Primal shards. And also Mystery shards can really help you to get that last amount of points, because you really want to save up your Sacred shards for the Summon Rush, as they give the most value. You can also use Remnant Summons and previous fusions, which will help you to complete this Champion Chase. Or if you're just running campaign for this Champion Training event, every champion that you get from the campaign will also count towards the Champion Chase tournament. Any type of way you can get champions will count towards the Champion Chase. So this one will probably going to be easier to complete than the Summon Rush. The artifact enhancement shouldn't be a problem at all. If you're completing the dungeon tournaments and events, you will get enough silver. Also, you can use the forge if you're low on silver, or sometimes also in the clan shop you can buy some silver and easily complete these enhancement events. And the classic arena takedown, those are probably the easiest ones to complete. Now the Summon Rush, you want to complete those with your Sacred shards, or like at least most of it, because you will always get a total of 500 points for your Sacred shards, which is equivalent to a legendary pull on a Champion Chase. That's pretty high in terms of points. I don't know what milestone those fragments will sit at, but I'm assuming it will also be around 3,000 points, at least I hope so. So yeah, this fusion really seems a little bit harder than the fusions before. It's a mixed fusion, so once you got the fragments, and you can't really skip one of these events and tournaments unless you're going for the extra Summon Rush. But if you don't, then you can't skip any of these events and tournaments. And once you fuse those epics, which will, by the way, not give you any points for the Summon Rush here, which is kind of unfortunate as the champion chase is going to be on the first weekend. And once you've fused those epics, you have to level them up to level 40, rank them up to 5-star, level them up to 50, and ascend them to be able to fuse the legendary fusion. And this will also cost you silver. So yeah, guys, this fusion looks quite challenging. I hope you saved enough shards for those summoning events, enough resources, energy, and gems, and all that stuff that you need, because this doesn't look like an easy fusion to me, but I'm definitely gonna post updates on it. Maybe we will get more information on the extra summon rush event and what milestones the fragments are going to sit at, but I think most people are going to be able to complete it, but you can't really skip any of these events unless you're going for that extra summon rush. So yeah, we will see. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something, and see you in the next video.